entertain the people. What are you doing?
There's no people yet.
Wiz on YouTube. I keep watching. My shorts are showing up in my feed. And
Bilkis, how you doing?
what's up, Bilkis?
All right, everybody, we're here to answer all your home loan questions.
All of them, every single one of them on the dot.
Give me an example of the home loan question.
Can I buy a home?
Give me another one.
How much does it cost?
Give me another one.
What's the down payment?
Give me another one.
What city can I buy in?
Give me another one.
I'm getting lost, man.
What's down payment? What's credit scores needed? How much money do I need to make? Do I have too much debt? What if I have a collection? What if I had a bankruptcy? Who's the best realtor to use? We have all these answers for you guys, but you guys have to participate in this. There's a reciprocation that goes on here, guys.
That's a big word, man.
You ask the questions, we answer them, you guys buy a house, we celebrate, everybody's happy, but you need to load up these chat box so we can start this process and getting you into houses and home ownership.
Is it a good idea to buy a home?
Yes. Next question.
Wait a minute. The guy who does home loans says it's a good idea to buy a home. Shocker.
Is it a good idea to eat cucumbers?
Sure.
I don't sell cucumbers either.
All right, fair enough.
See,
that's pretty good.
I can say answers to things that are facts.
I said, dude, I gotta see what you did there. How much zero down? Zero down. Can you build your house from scratch?
Yes.
Can you build it and finance it from scratch?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you
Yes.
build it
Yes.
from scratch
Yes.
and get a loan on it?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Well, it's very easy. You use a little program called One-Time Construct. One-Time Construct. Guess what kind of loan you can use with that?
What kind?
VA.
No way.
Guess another one.
How much is down for a VA with a one-time construct when you start with the land and you build the house?
Zero down.
Zero down on a VA?
Yep.
For, wait a minute, you can buy the land and build the house on top of it for zero down?
Zero.
On a VA loan, you can do it from
Yes.
That's crazy.
Dude, yes. It's not that easy in the big picture of
That's
things,
crazy.
but that's a fact.
Zero down on a VA loan.
Yep.
If you want to buy the land, design your own home, and then build it?
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
crazy, man.
Hey guys,
Crazy.
we've got a lot of questions popping up. Hang in there. Hang tight. We're going to get to every single one of you, okay? From Instagram, from Facebook, from YouTube, from what's the other one?
TikTok.
TikTok. So all the different programs, we're seeing all your questions flying in. We're going to get to every single one of you. But a couple of things, guys. Don't forget that if you're ready to get started, go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now. We will get your process started. Our phone numbers are always right here. We do a commercial a couple times a show, so screenshot this if you want to call us or text us or whatever the case may be. We will be there to help you. But let's start with our first question.
Cool.
Go.
DC Cowboy. Anyone possibly able to bless me with a meal? I'm homeless in a tent on my page.
You have a cell phone.
I mean, you got internet connection, which, okay, you got a cell phone. Okay. Yeah, that's weird,
City
man.
and state,
That's
DC
weird.
Cowboy.
Yeah, DC
City
Cowboy.
and state.
Tell us where you're at, DC Cowboy. Do that.
All right,
I think you're in
Bilkis.
DC.
Bilkis says, can you talk about FHA loans?
Yes, Bilkis, we can talk about FHA loans. So let's talk about what is an FHA loan. Federal Housing Administration. What? FHA, yeah. How much do I need to put down on an FHA loan? You go.
3.5%.
3.5%. Can I use a zero down program on an FHA loan?
Yes.
Okay, if I put zero down program on an FHA loan, how much do I have to put down?
Hold on. Zero.
Zero down on an Wait, is it still an FHA loan?
Still an FHA loan.
But how am I doing zero down if I'm get an FHA loan?
There are many programs that can piggyback on the back of an FHA loan that allows you to come in with zero down.
Zero down.
Yes.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So let's name one off the top of your head. Zero down
Platinum.
program. Platinum?
Yep.
Wow, that's a good name. Name another one.
Calhafa.
Wow. Calhafa, that sounds like a good one. Name another one.
We have an in-house program. Okay, check this. We have an in-house program that will allow you to do down payment assistance, zero down, FHA, and not affect your debt to income ratio.
What? Wow, that's crazy.
Doesn't mean it doesn't come with strings, because they all come
All of
with
them come with strings. Yeah, all of them come with strings.
But
But that's
max
FHA
DTI.
loan. 3.5% down on an FHA loan. I can go to 55.9999. 56.999999 on the back end ratio. And mortgage insurance is limited, even if you have bad credit. Even if you have bad credit, your MI is going to be 0.55 no matter what.
No matter
So
what.
that's good stuff.
Yeah, FHA loans, guys, they're not for first-time home buyers either. They're for anyone who's just going to make this property their primary residence, okay? Residence, minimum 580 credit score. Minimum. Doesn't mean you'll get approved at 580, but that is the minimum to get into the dance, okay?
Cool.
3.5% down. Primary residence. It's that simple. Bilkis, you have any more questions, reach out to us or ask more questions.
Yep, TikTok user. That's his name. TikTok user. Hey,
Like it.
145K year to date. I'm
That's a
gonna
good
assume
year
that's
to
your.
date.
I'm gonna assume that's your income, which means you're probably making about $12,000 a month. That's good. Congratulations. 680 FICO, decent FICO, not great but decent, and high DTI. Can I still qualify? I'm gonna say with that 680 FICO and that income, we can get you something. Absolutely, we can get you something. We just have to figure out what it is, where it is, and how we do it. Rachel Defoe says, "Are you separate from NAF?" I don't know what that means.
We were
NAF.
never married.
Yeah, we're never married, so we didn't really separate. It's not a weird thing. I do work for NAF. I hang my license at NAF. I actually look at it the other way around. NAF works for me because I'm a producing loan officer, and when you're a producing loan officer, the banks want you because you generate income. So
You're
NAF
a
works for me. If NAF didn't do a good job for me, I would go somewhere else. But NAF's doing okay, and because of that, we both hang our licenses at NAF. Which, by the way, for compliance purposes, I'm NMLS 944254. He is
1066958.
cool. We are licensed loan officers with NAF. So I hope that answered your question, Rachel Defoe.
Okay, Rebecca has a question over here, Lee.
Tell me,
She said, can you talk about assumable loans?
consumable loans. Okay, cool. That's a big deal right now, but it's a weird situation. Here's why.
Weird.
Here's why. So you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to assume a loan, because I want to go take over that guy's loan. All right, cool. Now, here's the problem with that. The problem with that is nobody's getting paid. I know that's ugly to say, but it's the truth. See, if you came, forget assumable loans for a second, move it to a side. You came to me and you said, hey, Lee, I want to buy a $500,000 house. I'm like, cool. Guess what? The realtor's going to make a commission. Lee, I'm going to make a commission. Well, the team is. And we're going to make sure that that loan funds on time. We're going to make sure everything moves forward. Escrow's getting paid a fee. Title's getting paid a fee. The notary's getting paid. Everybody's getting paid in that situation. The bank's going to make some money. Everybody's making money. Cool. So that means everybody's motivated. Now, if you say, hey, I want to assume that loan. All right, cool. Well, the bank doesn't make any more money. And because of that, they're not very motivated.
No motivation.
There is no loan officer that's going to push it, and they're not motivated. There's no realtor that's going to push it. There's no escrow because you're assuming a loan. So, can it happen? Yes, if the servicer and the investor allows it. Who's the servicer? That's the person you pay your money to. Who's the investor? FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or Alt-QM in certain situations, but most of those are not assumable. So, can you assume a loan? Yes, you can. Is it easy to do? It has not been my experience that it's easy to do. Is it fast? It is not fast. Nobody's motivated because when you come to me with a contract to buy a house, you're like 30 days. I'm like, cool. 30 days from now, I'll fund a loan. 2 weeks from there, I get a paycheck. All right, cool. So there's people pushing this loan along. But when you assume a loan, there's nobody pushing it along. And I've heard of assumable loans taking 9 months.
Dang.
9 months. That's the
a long
longest
time.
I've heard.
That's a
The
baby.
shortest I've heard is probably 90 days. That's the shortest I've heard. Now, I do know there's guidelines that say this must be closed within a certain period of time, as long as everything is met. If not, then that guideline gets pushed out. So it's assumable loans. Can you do them? Sure. Are they complicated? A little bit. The real problem is nobody's motivated to help you. That's the real problem.
Ashley, 1922, $108,000 a year, $950 in debt, $15K down, credit is 629. Is this good looking to buy in September?
Ashley, why September? That's a year from now. You should be, with that profile, you could buy today. Like today. You would send us all of your documents at the end of this live, and you would say, hey, I'm really serious about buying something today. We'd have you qualified really fast. You'd be shopping. Shoot, you could be in office. You could be in the house. Brain is in office before the new president takes office. Woo! Check that out.
Ooh, in a house. Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
guys, don't forget to load up these chat boxes with your questions, comments, concerns about buying houses and financing them, the different loan types, your personal scenarios. This is a big deal because it's personal to you, and we will answer the questions.
Yeah, we just closed on one in Texas yesterday, and it was a very unique situation, but we're able to help them. Let me tell you a little bit about NAFCash. We got one right now that's going to NAFCash. It's $1 million house going to NAFCash. What? Yeah, $1 million house. We do NAFCashes. They're great. What happens is you get qualified. First, you got TBD underwritten, which means the underwriter looked at your file and said, you are qualified. Then we send that TBD underwrite to the bank, and the bank says, all right, I got to go a little deeper because I'm about to put $1 million on the line. So they go a little deeper. They make sure that the realtor's qualified, the loan officer's qualified. You got to go through certain classes. But now the bank comes back and says, you were qualified for cash. Here's $1 million in cash. Go buy whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Here's cash. Now, what's the difference? When you walk up to negotiate on a house, if you're going, hey, listen, I got a pre-qual here. I can close this thing in 30 days. You're like, hey, that's pretty good. All right, good to hear that. The guy next to you goes, hey, I got cash money. Same offer price. Which one are you taking? I'm taking cash money.
Cash money.
And the way NAFCash works is the bank writes a check, and there it is. Boom, $1 million on the spot. And that closes that escrow really fast because it's cash. And then immediately you open the second escrow, and then that's where the normal transaction takes place. There's technically two offers, but you are cash money. That's what happens.
All right, Rebecca back in the house. She
What's
said,
up?
great, thank you for explaining. I'll be referring you with my clients. Do you do any I-10 loans? What are the requirements?
Cool. I-10s are difficult, and they're difficult at the moment. And I'm going to tell you, the flavor changes. Sometimes I-10s get a little easier. Sometimes I-10s get a little more difficult. Right now, they're in a bit difficult environment. They usually fall apart right here. I need 20% down. They usually fall apart right there. 20% down, and they fall apart. But if your client is able to do 20% down, then I-10 is not a bad loan. It's a pretty good loan. We actually do one where you don't even need an I-10. It's called the Foreign Nationals Program. And it's 20% down. That's where most of the loans fall apart, because some people go like, hey, I'd like to buy a house. I heard you can do it for 3%. I'm like, yeah, you can. They're like, oh, I'm I-10. I'm like, you forget that. You're gone. That's not going to happen. But if you got 20% down and a decent credit score and a good work history, we'll do it.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Ashley Knights 22 back in the house wants to know what the topic of the day is.
Well, let's see. What do we think the topic of the day should be? Because we could talk about what's going to happen to the rates. That could be the topic of the day. Or we could talk about NAFCash. That could be the topic of the day.
Do something
exciting. What's exciting, dude? What's exciting in the mortgage business? It's really hard to be exciting and talk about mortgages.
Dude, your down payment's only 3% down.
You don't even understand. Isn't that sexy? 3%. 3%. By the way, that 3%, people talk about that first-time homebuyer program. That might be the topic of the day. We're talking about first-time homebuyer programs because it's not what you think it is. It's not. It's really not. And most loan officers don't even know this because they hear all the time, hey, I haven't used my first-time homebuyer program. If you ask them, what are the first-time homebuyer programs? They'll be like, well, there's a whole bunch of them out there. Like, name one. Well, there's Cal Haffa, and, there's Shadap. And I'm like, nope, not the first-time homebuyer program. Neither one of those. Well, there's FHA, not a first-time homebuyer program. Well, there's VA, not a first-time homebuyer program. USDA, not a first-time homebuyer program. Fannie Mae, not a first-time homebuyer program with one exception. Freddie Mac, not a first-time homebuyer program with one exception. And they're like, well, okay, smarty pants.
They call you Smarty Pants?
Sometimes, yeah.
Congratulations.
Sometimes, yeah. So, what are the first-time homebuyer programs? And because I actually know the business, I'm going to say, hey, there's only two: Home Ready and Home Possible. That's it. That's it. Home Ready and Home Possible. And they're like, well, then that's a really good program. Not if you have a 622 FICO. It actually sucks for you. And I can do it in math. I can math it out on why it's not good for you. But people they're caught up on this first-time homebuyer program, and there's not very many people that really want to use a first-time homebuyer program once they actually understand it. That's the key. Well, I know we're getting behind on this.
It's all
What do
good,
we
man.
got?
I got a question for Rebecca.
Cool.
Said, any new loans?
New loans? Shit, we got one today. We got one today.
No, I think
Yesterday.
she means loan types.
Oh, I'm like, we got two in the
new
last 2
loan
days. So, here's the thing. Who was it? Who am I talking
Rebecca.
to? Rebecca, here's the deal. There are your primary loans, which are VA, FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and USDA. So those are the big categories. Now, they're going to market the shit out of them. They're going to say, hey, I got a teacher loan. No, it's not a teacher's loan. It's a little tiny little tick mark that gives you an extra $500, if you get a teacher in. The truth of the matter is that any good loan officer could probably negotiate that in the deal through a concession anyway. But it does sound really good to say, hey, we got a teacher. We got a teacher loan. So how would we negotiate that in concession? I would say, hey, listen, hey, we got your loan going right now. We need an extra $500 in order to close the deal. Like, Lee, I don't know if I can, do that $500. All right, cool. Let me ask the bank, because we're trying to earn your business, if the bank will give a $500 concession to you. And then the bank will say, oh, we got this deal. All right, cool. Here's a $500 concession. If the loan is structured properly, I can probably do that 80% of the time. Did you say that? Yeah. So they package it up like it's a teacher loan. Oh, you don't understand. Oh, it's a firefighter loan. Oh, it's a police officer's loan. Oh, military veteran loan. Oh, you know what? Union labor loan. They package it all up, but the truth of the matter is most of it's bullshit, because it does ride almost always, if not always, on FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or USDA. Those are the main loans.
Yep. Everybody hang in there. We're going to get to every single one of your questions.
Oh,
Don't leave.
Oh, look at all those questions.
Dan the man.
Cool. Dan the man.
My wife and her brother are looking to purchase a triplex, and they have $100,000 cash, which is 20%. Now, note, we are in California.
Okay, Dan the man. Dan the man. My wife and her brother are looking to purchase triplex. They have $100K in cash, which is 20%. So 20%, that means that you're trying to buy a $500,000 note, which means you already have identified the property. So give me the rest of that scenario, and I might be able to make it work.
Yeah, more data, Dan.
Yeah.
Irony of one. I took off in 2023. Does that change my ability to get approved? Do I need 2 full years of employment?
That's a good question. Irony of one. Here's the guideline. The guideline. Let's say that you worked at a job for 2 years, okay? And this was back in 20 to 2022. Cool. And then you took 6 months and 1 day off. 6 months and 1 day off. And then you went back to the job. I need 6 months on the job like you never left. 6 months on the job. Let's say that you did that same 2 years from 20 to 22. And instead of taking 6 months and 1 day off, you took 5 months and 3 weeks off. The minute you go back to the job, ready to go. I need an LOE, which is letter of explanation. Why did you take the time off? Well, I had a kid. Okay, cool. Well, I had surgery. All right, cool. Whatever the reason is, I need a letter of explanation. And then if it's below 6 months, right back to the job with an LOE. After 6 months, I need 6 months back on the job and still need an LOE, but we're good to go.
Yeah, all right, Irony of one. If you're ready, go to the link in the bio, select apply for a home loan now. Rajvinder in the house.
What's up, Rajvinder?
Where you been, girl?
Dude, I just like saying the name now. I just like
she's awesome.
saying Rajvinder.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Because I always
answer,
think
Rajvinder.
smart. Like in the dome, there's all kinds of horsepower going on in there. Chemicals, little steam blowing off here. Psh, psh, all kinds of good, smart stuff. Cool.
She wants to know, how are the rates on NAF cash? You're
You-
gonna love this.
You answer that.
You're gonna love this,
Tell me,
Rajvinder.
tell me,
You're
tell me,
going
tell
to
me.
love this.
Tell me.
There's no extra points on NAF cash once you do the financing.
Yep.
It's whatever the market rate is.
Yep.
It's not worse. So people think when you're using this program that, I'm gonna pay for it somewhere in the rate. You're not.
Not in the rate.
You are not.
There is a fee.
There is a fee to do 2 transactions
Yep.
because you're doing 2 escrows, so
Yep.
you're just paying for 2 escrows.
Everybody got to pay.
Yeah, but no extra hits on the rate, Rajvinder. So let's get it started.
Yeah, let's get it started.
Dude,
Let's
you're
get it
the best
started.
singer I've ever heard.
I know.
Whoville hater, let's go, boys. T back in the office.
T. You know what? This is what somebody said. Lee, I don't understand why this is such a big deal. And I'll say, I'm going to give you an analogy. Okay. Let's say you've got 4 13-year-olds and the adults left the building for a while. And they decide, hey, you know what? We're going to eat Snickers bars for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. We're not going to clean our rooms anymore. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. Guys, let's do it. Awesome. Cool. So they ate the first Snickers bar. And you know what? That first Snickers bar is not even bad. They're like, yeah, that was awesome, man. We love doing it. I'm not going to clean up my room. No way. Not going to clean up the house. Not going to do any of the chores. Nothing. And for the first little bit, sounds amazing. Because you're like, Snickers bar is good. Not cleaning is awesome. Cool. But if you let that keep going, you're in deep trouble. But you know what happens? 2 days later, Daddy comes home. And he says, no, you're not eating Snickers bars. You are going to clean up. You are going to follow the rules of the house because I understand the bigger structure. T-Money, back in the house. Daddy's home.
Juan Hernandez, let's network. Realtor in Arizona.
Juan, we're good with that. As long as you're a good, scrupulous realtor. In other words, you do good business. We want to work with you. We want to work with good realtors. If you're one of them shady ones, like, hey, trust me, bro. Property's good. Trust me, bro. Let's not even ask for inspections. We're good. Hey, if you're one of the good realtors, absolutely want to work with you.
Oh man, guess what?
What?
Time for commercial.
Cool. If you need a badass loan, call a badass loan officer. You can get your badass loan officer at New American Funding by dialing the numbers on the screen. But don't dial right now because we are live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We can't answer the phone at the moment. However, if you call after the live, we will answer your questions. This will disappear in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5.
Bam. Juan Hernandez, looking to hear from you, my man.
Cool.
Siraj Ramkinson. First topic, first then the second.
First and the second. I don't remember what my first topic was. What was the first topic? I don't know. We started talking about NAV cash after that. So, yeah, cool.
Ask again, Siraj.
Yeah, we're here for you. NAV cash sounds amazing. It is. And here's like a catch. Because the bank, NAV's a big bank. It's not a small bank. It's a big bank. It operates in all 50 states, and they will write a check for $1 million. But in order to do that, the realtor actually has to go to school before they're certified. And we cannot enter escrow without a realtor that is certified by NAV in order to use NAV cash, because there's some complicated things that have to happen and it can get screwed up along the way. It is exciting. It's a lot of extra layers, but really good for the client. Really good for the client.
Samantha Wattenberg, NAV cash is exciting and life-changing for people who don't even know about it.
Oh my God, Samantha. Samantha, sounds like you work for NAF. I bet you do. Hey, welcome to the feed. We appreciate you. We ride for the brand. As long as NAF is treating us good, we do good, and we are very proud of that NAF cash when we can do it. I actually sent a realtor to the class today in order so that we can get an offer in, I think, next week. Mm-hmm. So,
and we
NAV
have
cash,
we
we're
have
good to
some
go.
in escrow using this program.
Right
too,
now?
guys.
Do
Yep,
we?
Right now.
Damn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Tom, thank you for the love. Oscar, VA loan is BS. Please explain. Is BS.
Is BS. I don't know what you mean. I'm going to tell you, Oscar, that VA loan is probably the best loan in the system.
Hands down.
And I'll tell you why. I'm not just going to put it out there and go, hey, I'm a veteran, because I am. I'm a veteran, and I have a VA loan, because I do. But I'm going to say it's the best loan in the system. I'm going to give you reasons, okay? So here's the reasons. First off, there are 3 straight government loans. Here they are. You better be taking notes. I hope you got your pencil and a backup pencil. Cool. Here's the 3 straight government loans: FHA, USDA, and VA. Straight government. The government is making sure those loans happen. That's it. Cool. Now, if I go FHA, I have an extra fee on top. Bang. What's the fee? It's called UFMIP, and it's 1.75% of the loan. Do I have to pay it? Yes, you do. Who has to pay it? Everybody. All right, cool. So that covers my mortgage insurance. No. On top of that 1.75 UFMIP, I have to pay a monthly 0.55, sometimes 0.50, but 0.55 MI, mortgage insurance. What? Yeah, cool. So that's the one government loan. The second government loan is USDA. USDA doesn't have MI, it has GI. GI is government insurance. And I think it's 0.35 right now. It moves back and forth, but I think it's 0.35 right now. And USDA, you can do zero down, but you're going to have GI on USDA for the life of the loan and MI on the FHA for the life of the loan. VA, on a VA loan, guess how much I have to put down? Zero down. Guess how much I have to put monthly mortgage insurance? Zero monthly mortgage insurance. Now there's one downside to a VA loan. One. And that's called the VA funding fee. The VA funding fee can get expensive. Unless you're service connected at 10% or better and you have a loan officer who knows the business. So there's some of the benefits. Here's another gigantic one. It's amazingly gigantic. Let's say that I qualified you for an FHA loan. Well, I take your income and I'm allowed to go 55%, 56% on an FHA loan. Let's say I do a USDA loan. I take your income and I'm allowed to go maybe 50 on a USDA loan. Maybe 50. It's a little different because it's a different underwriting system. But maybe 50. If I do a VA loan, there is no hard back end. None. I'm funding them at 72% back end loan. 72. Lee, isn't that irresponsible? Somebody can't afford their mortgage payment? No. A VA loan has something on the back end called the residual. As long as the veteran meets the residual, it doesn't matter what the debt to income ratio is. It's residual driven, not FICO driven or debt to income driven, residual driven. It's a little bit more complicated, and you actually need someone who knows what the hell they're doing. Because if not, you're not going to get the benefits. Cool. Hope that helped you.
And Oscar, it sounds like you're a vet. Thank you for your service. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Oscar.
User 3248, follow the host. Thank
We
you for the
appreciate
love.
you. Thank you.
Tom, we just clarified the VABS. Okay.
Yep.
User 3284, can I get a loan on bad credit?
On bad credit, maybe, but it depends on what you call bad credit, user 3284. If you got bad credit, like 380, I've seen one 380 FICO in my life. One 380 FICO. Belonged to a loan officer.
Not this one.
Not this one, no. I was like, you're kidding me, right? And he's like, I walked away from a lot of properties. I'm like, yeah, you should have a 380. If you have a 380, I don't care, you're not gonna get a loan. Nobody's gonna trust you. Why? Because here's what credit is. Credit is, hey, MasterCard, I'd like you to lend me $5,000 and I'll pay you back. Trust me, bro, I'll pay you back. Cool, time to make my $300 payment? Nah, I'm not paying you on time. I'm not paying you. All right, credit score's going down. All right, so you go and you say, hey, I wanna go to college. I'm gonna take out a student loan. Time to pay it back. I don't really feel like paying it. Yeah, you're not gonna get that loan. All right, Ford Motor Corporation, why don't you get me a Ford Expedition? Yeah, I like Expeditions. Cool, time to pay your $500 payment. You're gonna pay it late? Yeah, you're not so good at paying shit back. And then you go to the bank and you're like, hey, trust me, bro, I'll pay it back. The bank's gonna go like,
But you don't.
You don't. We know how you pay. We do. Denied. So, is it easy to get a loan with bad credit? No, it's not. It's real. You'll get a lot of people saying, hey, we can do down to 500 FICO. The guideline allows us to do down to 500 FICO, but the reality of that getting approved, not so good.
Yeah, so user 3284, give us some more data. Let us know what your credit looks like, and we'll give you some good advice. Just smack yourself, said the Fed dropped rates by 25 basis points. What does that mean to the consumer?
Just smack yourself. I like that.
Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, welcome back. Good to see you again. Okay, cool. So here's what it is. The Fed controls the Fed funds rate. The Fed funds rate is what the banks borrow from each other at. It's a very important factor. Now, the reason it's important is because when it costs less for the banks to borrow from the federal government and from each other, then that affects the overall market. So, the Fed funds rate was at 5.5 for a very long time. They cut 50 basis points and went down to 5%. I have not actually seen the Fed cut. So if you know it already, then you know more than me at the moment. But as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to dig in and find out. So that would mean that it dropped down to 4.75. If you're correct, and they dropped. So now the Fed funds rate is 4.75. Now, is that the mortgage rate? It is not. The mortgage rate is usually between 100 and 250 basis points above the Fed funds rate. Usually. Well, that's a big spread, Lee. Yeah, because it's market driven. It is market driven. And the Fed funds rate is based off of the 10-year yield. The 10-year yield is usually between 150 basis points, 100 and 250 basis points above the Fed funds rate. Now, what causes that spread is the uncertainty in the market. If there's uncertainty, it goes all the way up to 250 basis points, which means rates aren't going to move at all, not even a little bit. Why? Because it's the market. Jerome Powell does not own what the market does. He does not own it. He controls the Fed funds rate. And then the Fed funds rate kind of works its way through, and as soon as we have certainty in the market, then the yield spread drops from 250 all the way down to 100. This is just the last 40 years of history. It drops all the way down to 100, and we'll get close. And then what does that mean to you? 4.75 with a 100 basis point spread is 5.75 in a certain market. That's rough. But right now, 4.75 with 250 basis points, that's 4.75, 5.75, 6.75, 7.25, which is right about where we're at right now. There's a 250 basis point or yield spread from that right now. Now the Fed is trying. They're trying to get this thing down. But he doesn't own it. He influences it. And then the market. Now, why is there uncertainty? Well, I don't know if you heard, but there's this little election that went on. And I don't know if you heard, but there was this wave that swept the country, and it's red. And now, what does that mean? That means that the old way of doing things is about to go away. And there's going to be a new way of doing things. What do they call that? Uncertainty. They're really uncertain right now. That's why the yield spread is higher, the higher end of it. Now, is it exact? Is it like driving a car and you turn the wheel and the car goes? No, it's like driving a boat. You're going like 50 miles an hour and you turn the thing, you kind of turn a little bit. And you're like, oh shit, I got to correct. Oh, you kind of turn a little bit more. Oh, I need the brakes. There's no brakes on a boat. So there's this weird tide that moves things. But if you understand the macroeconomics, then you understand that the mortgage interest rates usually hover between 100 and 250 basis points above the Fed funds rate. Wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, just smack yourself. Said, send me to the NAF class.
Damn.
NAF cash class. So go ahead and screenshot this, call
Yeah.
one of these numbers, send an email to one of these emails.
Yeah.
We'll get you started. Just smack yourself. All right, Oscar. Okay, here's the confusion. You said military package, firefighter, teacher's package is not great. Okay, I misunderstood. Military package not the same as VA loan. I apologize. No worries, Oscar. I understand. I was wondering, LOL, because I have bought 2 houses and a duplex with a VA loan. Awesome. Thank you for your service.
Oscar, VA loan is the best loan in the system, man. It is. There's only one downside, and the downside is the VA funding fee, and that can be very expensive. So we will actually factor that versus the FHA loan if you are not service connected. If you're like zero problems when you came out of the Navy or military, when you came out, I'm Navy. When zero
just
problems.
offended him.
I didn't mean to offend you. So 0 problems when you came out of the military and you got no service connection at all. There is a little bit of a downside, and that's that 3.3% funding fee can go as high as 3.3%.
Yeah, Steve, how about conventional?
Yes, we do conventional.
Sweet. Oscar,
Yes.
thank you for the love. Tom,
Appreciate
you're
you.
welcome. Richard, will interest rates go up or down once the new administration takes over?
So Richard, I'm going to talk about history. History. Here's what it is. The yield spread is 100 to 250 basis points above the Fed funds rate. That's usually what it is. We're at the top, man. The uncertainty is there. I think as soon as the new administration comes in, we're going to be here for a little while, and then I actually think it's going to go like that. Shoo! I think it's going to drop a lot. Now, what does a lot mean? Right now, if I priced you, you would probably come in at 7.25, a par loan, good, decent credit, decent income, decent down payment, 7.25. Right across the board right now. The highest they've been is 8, so we're kind of at the high. But it's because of the uncertainty in the yield spread. As soon as the new administration steps in and they go, here's who we're appointing here, here's who we're appointing here, then there's going to be a little bit of chaos, and they're like, okay, cool. Now we know the direction of the market. Now the market will go, hey, I'm kind of certain what things are going to be for the next 4 years, so I don't need this big old pad anymore, and it's just going to drop all the way down. Now, at 4.75% Fed funds rate, if we get down to 100 basis points, you're talking 5.75% interest rates. That's a par. Now, if you happen to be great credit, you go 5.75, 5.5, 5.25. What? Yeah, that'll be happening fast.
Yeah.
And we anticipate the Fed will cut the rate one more time. There's one more meeting. Yeah, because of that uncertainty factor. But this whole administration change thing is going to affect things. And I actually think what this guy said is actually going to happen, because what he said and what you can see on the FOMC website, FOMC is Fair Open Markets Committee, that's the Federal Reserve. They said that they're going to get the Fed funds rate down to 2.5% by 2026. And they have a plan to do it, which means rates are going down a lot, I think.
Yeah. All right, guys, help us out. Our currency is only 2 things. Hearts and shares. Hearts and shares. If you like what you hear here, if you're getting the data that you're looking for, if you're just being mildly entertained, give us as many hearts as you can, guys, because it brings more people in and they ask more questions. And don't forget to load up the chat box, guys. The more questions you ask, the more people get helped out there.
Yep.
Oscar, what state are you bros in?
What state are we in? We're in a state of confusion right now. Everybody's confused at the moment.
Extremely.
Yeah, we're in Riverside, California at the moment, but we do business in all 50 states. My primary residence is in Texas. So we do a lot of Texas loan. We closed one today. Very happy about that. If you're out there watching, congratulations. Yes, super hard. So we close a lot of loans in Texas. We close a lot of loans in California, but we close them across the country. We are licensed. We can do business in all 50 states.
And?
All 50. And Oh, dude, you're gonna make me go political. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Hinchcliffe, you're funny as hell, but that did that caused a controversy. Yeah. Anyway,
Dan
next.
the man. Would my wife and her brother have to make separate accounts to get pre-approved letter on your website, or can they do it together in the same account?
Dan, we'll separate it on the back when you send in all the documents. Just make sure you send the last 2 years for both your wife and your brother, and just send everything in, and we'll separate them. It's complicated because obviously your wife and your brother are not legally married. When I put a file together with two people, they have to be legally married or separate borrowers. Complicated stuff. You don't have to worry about it. Just send all the stuff in. We'll fix it all up for you.
And Dan, don't go to the regular website because that's going to get lost in the abyss. Go to the link in the bio right here. Select apply for a home loan now, and that'll come to our team.
Or text us and email us directly. Yeah, if you text us and email us directly, we'll get everything going. We'll get everything going. Yeah, cool.
All right.
Neither own a home, but we're both rent. She's an attorney with little debt. Cool.
Good.
That's good, man. Attorneys usually have good income. Sometimes. Not always. Sometimes.
Depends on who they work for.
Depends on who they work for.
Steve,
Yeah.
what is the downside of a conventional loan?
Steve, that's a good question, man. That's a good question.
Come up with a good one, Steve.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, so conventional. Here's the downside. So I'm going to tell you it in a story because it becomes very pertinent. There's 2 first-time homebuyer programs out there. I don't care what the loan officers tell you. There's 2 first-time homebuyer programs. There's a lot of primary residence programs, but there's only 2 first-time homebuyer programs. And those are Home Ready and Home Possible, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Now, the benefit of that is you can come in with 3% down. Wait, that sounds amazing. It does. And if you're a first-time homebuyer, which by the guidelines, you have not owned a home in the last 3 years. By the guidelines, you have not owned a home in the last 3 years. Cool. First-time homebuyer program. 3% down. Sounds awesome. Sounds amazing. Okay. Now, let's say I priced you, let's go to FHA for a second, and you have a 622 FICO. Cool. How much you have to put down? 3.5%. Right? Not 3%, 3.5. What's your MI, your mortgage insurance? 0.55. All right, cool. 622 FICO, 3.5% down, 0.55. Sounds good, but sounds like I can do better on conventional. All right, let's do that. I'm going to put that same 622 FICO in a Home Ready program. Home Ready, and then I want to find out what your mortgage insurance is. So now you have a 622 FICO, and I price out your mortgage insurance. It's not 0.55. It's 2.91. What? Ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously at 622. Ridiculously expensive. All right, so FHA's always better than a conventional. No, negative. Let's change one variable on that. Just one variable. You now have an 800 FICO score. And I set you up for an FHA. Cool. Same 3.5% down. Same 0.55 mortgage insurance. Same deal. Perfectly 800 FICO score. Rate's a little better, but same deal across the board. All right, let's go back to the Home Ready that we were talking about a second ago. Now, I go, okay, cool. You're putting 3% down, so 0.5 less. That's it, 0.5 less. Now I shop your mortgage insurance with an 800 FICO, 0.19. 0.19. Instead of 0.55, 0.19. The mortgage insurance is the most important factor when it comes to conventional. So if you're at 620 FICO, you're probably better off with FHA most of the time. Conventional becomes by far better when you have a really good FICO score. That's the big difference. That's the big difference. I'll compare both, and I don't care which one you do it, but I will give you the reality. Most loan officers don't even know this stuff. They're like, hey, I know how to fund a loan. Yeah, you don't even know what's better, Home Ready or an FHA. If I just ask them up front, they have no idea because they don't do enough. Most of them do not. If, by the way, if you're a loan officer, I don't mean to offend you. I hope you're here to learn. We can teach you. If you know more than me, please flex. I would like to learn. Please flex. What do we got?
Dude, that was the most entertaining bit I've ever been involved in.
Okay.
Woo! Henry from Fontana in the house. USA. USA.
USA. I like it.
We like Fontana too.
Do you like Fontana?
Dude, it was windy in Fontana this past couple days.
It's crazy.
Insane winds in Fontana, Henry. I hope you're still there. I hope your roof is still on. I hope everything's still intact because that wind is no good.
No good.
No good. Nobody likes it. But
In
I'll tell you
Spanish,
what,
they call it no bueno.
it's clear as hell outside, though.
In Spanish, they call it no bueno.
You're good at Spanish, man.
I
Say
am
something else.
pretty good. Yeah, I am pretty good. No bueno.
Say something about mortgages in Spanish.
El bueno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, I did? Yeah, that's pretty good, right? I'm good at this stuff,
like
man. Dude, I'm a genius. You don't even know.
I think-
You don't even know. What do we got over here?
Okay, what do we got over here? Okay, can you talk more about the down payment assistance programs?
Yes. So, if you're in California, the biggest one at the moment, which probably has been for the last 2 years, is
All right, before you finish that statement, Henry said the bank offered much less than expected on my HELOC due to showing losses on my taxes. You need to reach out to us. There
Yep.
might be another opportunity for you to get more money. Reach out to us. We'll send it down the path. Hopefully, we can get you the amount that you're looking for.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
payment
CalHAPA.
assistance.
CalHAPA.
Kahava.
The most popular program in California right now is CalHAPA. It is the most popular program. And there is one that seemed popular, but it just, man, it bit the dust. It bit the dust. And it was called Dream for All. And it is such a sleight of hand. It's like slippery used car salesman California coming to you. And that was called Dream for All. And Dream for All was doing 20% down. 20% down payment assistance. But there was unbelievable catches on Dream for All. What?
Steve, back in the house.
Yep.
What rate is lower in FHA loans than conventional loans?
Why rate
Oh,
is lower?
why is
yeah,
rate?
why?
Okay.
Here's why, Steve. Here's why. It actually is pretty close to par. Here's why. If, let's just say I priced you FHA right now 6.5%. Okay? So you have a decent FICO score and you have, and I got you an FHA and I got you 6.5%. And you're like, cool, I want to know what I get in conventional with this exact same file. All right, cool. I priced you 7%. You're like, oh, FHA is way better. I said, no, actually, conventional is better. And you're like, wait a minute. You just told me 6%, and you told me FHA's, 7%, and you told me FHA's 6.5%. I said, yeah, that's true. But you're not considering the MI. Because the MI on FHA is 0.55. So if you take that 6.5 and you add the 0.55, you're now at 6.05 FHA. And your conventional is 6. Which one's better?
So you're telling, but that's not apples to apples because you're saying you're putting 20% down on that conventional. So it'd be 3% conventional with mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So what's the total on conventional?
So back to FICO score. Let's say that you have an 800 FICO score. And your same scenario. Your FHA is 6.05 now. 6.05. Your conventional is 6 flat. So heads up, conventional wins. But you have an 800 FICO score. And your MI came in at 0.17. Now I got to take that 6 and go to 6.17 versus 6.05. Now it looks like conventional loses. But when does the MI fall off on conventional? At 80% loan to value, you go back down to 6. And if you stay with FHA, you will be at 6.05 for the rest of the 30 years.
Cocox at 6.75. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's their rate today.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So what do you want to do with that, Cocox?
Yeah, you trying to flex? You trying to flex? Oh yeah? What do we got? What do we got?
Let's
If
talk
you-
about today's rates,
Cocox,
guys.
in case you
Rates
are
today.
in case you're a loan officer and you go, hey, check this out. I'm at unknown bank and this is what I got, 6.75. And you're like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm at New American Funding. And if you went to my New American Funding right now, the website right now, like right now, you would see 5.875. So flex that. 5.875 on a VA, 30-year fixed. You would see FHA, 5.875 on a 30-year fixed. FHA right now. That is not my quote to you. That is what New American Funding is putting out to the world. And if you don't believe me, go to our profile, go to links, cool stuff, today's rates, and you'll see exactly what I am seeing. Because I'm like reading off today's pricing sheet. If you said, well, wait a minute, I want to know what a 15-year goes for, I'd say right now, 5.625. What? Don't believe me? Go to the link, check it out. And then, then how about a 30-year Smarty Pants? All right, 6.375. So if you're trying to flex on me because you're a loan officer, flex back.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, okay? I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions.
Go.
But I want you to answer every single one of these questions
Me?
as if you were, yes, you.
Oh, me, okay. I thought you were talking to...
There's no one sitting in front
Dude,
of me.
all right,
What
cool.
are you talking about?
I'm not sitting in front of
There's
you
no
either.
human here.
I'm not sitting in front of you either. Go.
Okay, but I want you to answer every single question
Go.
as if you were Jesse Jackson.
Okay.
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All right.
Which one do you want to go
I
with?
don't know, man. I can't do either. All I can do is
Just try your best.
get down.
Just
That's it.
try
That's
your
all.
best.
All right, go.
Just try your best.
Okay, go.
Okay. So, what is one of the biggest challenges that you see first-time home buyers running into?
Get to the chopper.
Try your best, man. That's not even trying.
Get to the chopper.
Come on. Or do Jesse Jackson then.
Okay.
What's one of the biggest challenges you see first-time home buyers run into?
Pontification. Get to the chopper.
Why is everyone going to a chopper?
I don't know, man.
All right, what's the best accent you can do? Or impersonation, sorry, impersonation.
That's
Do
your
Trump.
thing. That's your, get to the chopper. What's the question again?
What's one of the most common things you see first-time home buyers run into? Challenges.
Huge problems. Huge. Huge.
You're going to make them better.
Make America great again. Huge.
Man, you're the
Huge.
worst impersonationist I've ever met.
Down payment. Down payment. Oh, wait a minute. Down payment. Huge problem. All right, not bad, right?
Yeah, not bad. But you ready to go, man?
All right, cool. You know what? We appreciate you guys. We've been Chris and Lee. We are out.